Hello everyone, my name is Tomoko Maeshima. I belong to Tsuda Zemi, and the topic of my graduation thesis is African Child Migrants, Refugees, and Orphans. First, I'll discuss thesis statement, background information, and the definition of keywords in introductory part, and then I'll move on to the main part, and finally, I'll share my conclusion. African child migrants who move to other countries within and outside of Africa can confront many troubles and dangers. Under these difficult situations, international adoption can become an effective solution because this system can save these children from their radical difficulties, and the safe movement of African children can be realized through the Treaty of Hague. Background information. According to UNICEF, the number of international child migrants has been increasing in the past few decades. In 1990, it was 24 million, while it was 33 million in 2019. This implies that 1 in 72 children lives outside their mother countries. Many of these children had to leave their countries without their parents, and some of them confronted the problem of being orphans at the same time. They lost their parents because of war, disease, and the biggest cause can be attributed to AIDS, especially in sub-Saharan Africa. Definition of keywords. Central Mediterranean route. This is a route which migrants transit through from Libya to Europe. The migrants who cross Libya encouraged the development of smuggling and trafficking network. Eastern Mediterranean route. This is a sea route which migrants used to transit from Turkey to Greece. However, the European Union closed this route with the cooperation of the government of Turkey, so the number of migrants who used this route decreased from 2017. Orphans. According to UNICEF, an orphan is defined as a child under 18 years of age who has lost one or both parents, any cause of death. Let's move on to main part, difficulties of African child migrants. The serious situation of child migration in Africa. According to UNICEF 2019, 25% of migrants in Africa are children, and this proportion is twice bigger than the global average. They become migrants or refugees because of poverty, violence to children, lack of support for children's rights, exploitation, and lack of educational opportunities. The risk of the journey to cross Central Mediterranean route. 3/4 of children who cross the Central Mediterranean route often experienced violence, harassment, aggression, and sexual abuse in many locations on their journey. UNICEF estimates that more than 400 children have died within 1 year after they started their journey. Graph 2 shows that adolescents and children who chose the Central Mediterranean route confronted exploitation more often than the counterparts who chose the Eastern Mediterranean route. The issue of African child migration within Africa. Children who move to other countries within Africa also have the similar risk. A survey in 2016 that targeted 70,700 households found that 80% of them were housing unaccompanied children. Of these, approximately 40,000 children worked in mines in the Democratic Republic of Congo without going to school. B. Orphans and international adoption. Orphans in sub-Saharan Africa. In sub-Saharan Africa, the biggest cause of becoming orphans is HIV/AIDS. In this area, about 56,000 children became orphans of this epidemic in 2012. Although only 10% of the world population lives in this area, nearly 80% of orphans because of HIV/AIDS come from this area. Historical background of international adoption. International adoption was conducted actively after World War II. However, the law for international adoption was not regulated adequately. In 1957, according to the research by Koyama and Owada, the 12 conditions for international adoption were established by European experts meeting. From 1965, the problem of human trafficking, which is associated with the flourish of international adoption, emerged. Thus, in 1993, the Treaty of Hague was established. So what is Treaty of Hague? There are currently 90 countries that ratified the Treaty of Hague. This treaty was made to save or protect the children who are kidnapped beyond the borders. In this treaty, to return those children to their original countries, briefly, international cooperation and the union such the children and their parents are needed. Historical background of the international adoption. Graph 4 shows that the top countries that had international adoption from 2000 to 2005. Most adoptions were from China and Russia. Ethiopia is the only African country included in the list of possible international adoption. Why do Africans hardly form international adoption? Because Africans think that to adopt children means to introduce an alien spirit into their families. Even if the adoption is done, it is conducted within a country. The regulation and conditions for adoptive parents in America. America is a top country for adopting children internationally, so adoption is highly regulated. For example, an adoption agency, American World Adoption, has 18 regulations to become adoptive parents. For example, single males cannot become adoptive parents. Adoptive parents must be 25 years old or more. Each parent who experienced getting divorced more than twice cannot become adoptive parents. They must have proper physical and mental health. Those who passed criminal case and illegal drug use are considered case by case. However, the regulations for international adoption is different in each country. Some countries set the limitation of the age difference between adoptive parents and adopted children. In Italy, its minimum difference should be 18 years and its maximum should be 45 years. In the case of Switzerland, the age difference of them is set at least 16 years of old. In the Netherlands, the age difference should be 48 years at most. Like this, the regulations are different in each country. But such the regulations for international adoption are really important to be formed safely. Effects on adoptive children and adoptive parents. Many children in Africa experienced being street children and suffer from serious poverty. If they are adopted through international adoption, they can escape serious poverty. They can get opportunities to take higher education, and they can access better medical service and may overcome their physical handicaps. How about the effects on adoptive parents? Angelina Jolie is an example of a white parent who internationally adopted non-white children who suffer from poverty and discrimination. She said, "We need to solve such a problem by changing politics, the educational system, the culture, and other many aspects in the society." It is her thinking through the experience of international adoption. For adoptive parents, they come to appreciate the cultural roots of adopted children and understand the problems and factors of the society where those children come from. In conclusion, African child migrants and refugees who move to other countries within and outside of Africa confront many troubles and dangers. Under these difficult situations, international adoption can become an alternatively effective solution of African child migration, because this system can save these children from their radical difficulties, and the safety of the international adoption can be realized thanks to the Treaty of Hague and each nation's law. However, the number of countries which have ratified this treaty is still only 90. To be conducted safely international adoption more actively, people have to comprehend the value of international adoption and understand better the Treaty of Hague. These are works cited. Thank you for listening.
子どもの移民と難民についてもちろん興味があったっていうのはあるんですけれども、実は最初は主にフォーカスするのはアフリカの子どもの孤児の問題についてのみフォーカスしようとしてたんですけど、なかなか進まなくて結構難しい問題だなと思ってた時に自分でもちょっとトピック変えた方がいいかなと思ってたんですけど、なかなか勇気が出なくて、でそこで選んだ先生の方からフォーカスするのを移民と難民を足してフォーカスしたら進むんじゃないかなというふうなありがたいご提案をいただいたので、はい、ちょっとチェンジすることにしました。孤児の問題ってすごくいろんな社会問題例えば戦争だったりとか貧困の問題だったりとかっていうのが複雑に絡み合ってたんですけれども、移民や難民の問題もそれと同じで本当にいろんな複雑な社会問題がすごく絡み合っている。だからこそ解決するのが難しいんだなっていうのをすごく実感しました。最初大学に留学した当初は自分が4年後に20枚の英語の卒論を書いてるなんていうのはもう想像できなかったんですけれども、毎日少しずつちょっとずつ努力して英語を勉強していくっていうことを日々習慣にしていたら4年後には今はその卒論20枚英語で書くことができたということが本当に一番嬉しかったことです。今年はコロナのこともあってなかなか学校に来れなかったんですけれども、だからこそ神戸女学院で学んでることって本当に自分にとってすごく大切なことだし有意義なことだなっていうふうに思いました。まず日々授業だったりとか出される課題だったりとかっていうのは一生懸命取り組んだらいいと思います。一個一個が意外とすごく自分のためになるものだし取り組むことで自分に自然と力がついていくと思います。あとそれからすごく親切な先生が多いので、もし困ったりとかわからないことがあったりしたら先生をたくさん頼るといいと思います。お菓子の会社に就職することが決まってます。たくさんの関わる人に少しでも笑顔になっていけるようなそういう仕事をしたいなっていうふうに思っています。
ぜひ頑張ってください。はい、ありがとうございました。